Alright, to be very real with you, I'm gonna make a whole prediction, and hopefully it'll be true, but I don't think DEI is gonna last forever. Considering how much money has been lost to it, and considering how many people have not accepted that mindset, which you shouldn't, when it comes down to it, I don't think this type of thing is gonna last forever, which is hopefully good. We just don't know when, but hopefully it will happen very soon. But when it comes down to it though, really just think about it. Look at the games that has happened that DI has been a part of, and really just look at a lot of the stuff that, it really has done. Sure, there has been games that's been good, like, maybe a little bit of God of War Ragnarok, kinda, have a little bit of Spider-Man 2, a little bit of that Final Fantasy 16. There's some games that has been a little decent and been having some good moments in those games. But I wouldn't overall call those games out to be the most ultimate game of all ultimate games, right? And you can say it is, that's your opinion, that's fine. But I wouldn't call them out to be really ultimate games that everybody just would want to play or could be excited for or something like that. And that's a lot of because of the DEI initiative and things like that that's also been implemented into these games as well. Really think about it though. In the past, we didn't have this type of problem. In 20 years ago, this wasn't even a thing that existed, honestly. We were just having fun, playing as certain characters, playing certain games, and just enjoying our time. And when it comes down to it, really since 2019, all of this stuff want to start to get pushed up for some reason. And it's just really been mad weird, right? And it just doesn't make any sense, and it killed off tons of different projects when it comes down to it in some shape and form because of the moral high ground that people want to throw in. This is why we don't get Senran Kagura 7 as a game anymore, and just Senran Kagura in general, because that franchise is basically dead outside the damn mobile game now. This is why we get a shit ton of anime games to be censored when it comes down to it, because they get censored, but a lot of the realistic games don't, and it's still very racist and xenophobic of the companies that do censor these games. It don't make any kind of sense. And then when you have people to bring back older games that do have, the more wilder and raunchier content, they get toned down or they look different. Like, for example, the Perfect Dark game, which people were freaking out about because it's yo, what the hell happened to the woman that was the main character of Perfect Dark? Looking like shit, honestly. Which, yeah, pretty damn much. It's following the same trends as we all know. Women cannot be pretty in these type of games, honestly, for whatever reason. Even though you can still have a very successful game with a very pretty woman, like 2B, for example, from Nier Automata, or Velvet from Tales of Assyria, or plenty more. And that's just the whole ass thing. Lots of new games now, and just games in general, especially with realistic ass graphics and stuff, they just don't bring excitement. They don't shake the internet hard as a lot of older games and other games used to and would do if they have free reign to do what they want to do. Why do you think people are hyped up for Black Myth Wukong? Because they're, one, Chinese and they don't play that DEI nonsense, and two, it genuinely looks like a fun ass game. That's really what this comes down to. At the end of the day, they just wanted to make a game that's based on their culture, their traditions, and things of that sort, and really show off this game not just as a game, but as a work of art as well. And I think Black Myth is going to sell pretty damn well, if I'm being honest with you. Look forward to it. Can't get it, but we'll look forward to it when people start playing it. Then, at the very same time, why do you think people were also hyped up for Stellar Blade as well? Because at the end of the day, people were tired of not seeing fine women in games. Genuinely. Why do you think people were super hyped up? Why do you think they finally got 1 point something million sales of their game now? It's because they wanted to actually show you that, hey, we can have fine women and absolutely dominate with that too. Sure, it might have some small minor changes between costumes and certain things taken out the game, but it's still a victory overall when it comes down to it. And people bought the hell out that game, and then still all these type of articles and all these type of people try to, dog walk the game, act like it wasn't good, even though it is kind of good though. It's not the best game in the world, sure, it may not be the best, but it's still pretty damn good for what it is. I still want to get it at some point in time. So when it comes down to it, it's not necessarily the most impossible thing ever. You can still have fun women in gaming and still have them be fun and cool and creative and nice games. And I'd even argue with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth that came out, you know, even though Square is working with Sweet Baby, but we don't know with games, with or what games they're basically working on, or if they're still working with them in some shape or form. Because when it comes to the FF7 Rebirth, that game was slapping. That game was pretty damn good for what it was. And they knew how to treat their characters when it comes down to it. They knew how to, and when they had diversity with Barrett, essentially, why was he the best damn character in the entire effing game? Why? He was really damn good. Because they know how to handle his character. They know how his character is without making it like super stereotypical, right? And that's the amazing thing of what they're trying to do with that game, honestly. And while the game may not be focused on Barrett, he's not overbearing, he's not, you know, overly like in the damn game all the time. You know, he's there, he is really good, and yeah, he's a part of the damn party, and it feels like an FF7 as it should be. My point is that there is so much trying to push diversity and all these other things within games now, to the point they miss out on the fact that you don't realize what make games fun. Games are meant to be, first of all, of anything, fun. Profits can come later. And that's kind of the mindset that they have in the backwards type of way. Which is why you get people excited for a 20-year-old ass game like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Plenty of people are probably going to buy that, and there's physical copies of that game that's going to come out, and most likely it's going to sell over 1 million copies or so. Then people back, and then just looking back a few years back, look at things like Smash Brothers. Look at the DLC list of characters that people were excited for, you know? It was literally like watching a sporting event back then, because you didn't know which character was getting in. When Sora got in, it broke the damn internet. When Steve got in, it super broke the internet. So when it comes down to it, it's about making those lasting memories and making these games still fun to go back to. And people still do. And that's just the glory of actually having fun with your game. And even looking at the Japanese side, it's not like they don't want to, you know, make proper fun Japanese type games ever again. They do, but it's just because a lot of things keep bogging them down. If you really think about it, look at, you know, Tekken 8. When it comes down to it, is it the most, you know, scandalous game ever? Absolutely not. But there is jiggle physics, because the old DOA devs come to, you know, help out that game in some shape and form, and they snuck that in. So when it comes down to it, you know, they want to do stuff like that, but they just don't necessarily have the chances to anymore because of how things is. SNK, honestly, them being owned by the prince is quite literally like the best thing for them, because they can still do what they do without missing a damn beat of their game. Why didn't people went crazy for beating it like I did when it comes down to it? Because yeah, it's nice to see a fine female character and not afraid to hide anything. And we're not even just talking about games, like even looking at anime as well, it's the same type of boat when you really think about it. Because if you look at anime, people are still going to create whatever the hell they want to. Yeah, there might be a part of anime that tries to follow in DEI a little bit, but not all the anime in the world is going to follow that shit. It's just not going to. Just when you look at the whole side of just games and anime and things of entertainment as a whole, the things that really stand out and people are going to remember the most and have fun with is the games that put fun first over anything else. And that's just how it is. When it comes down to it, if you ain't having fun with your game or trying to maximize what you can do with your game and try to create something magical for people to experience, if you're focused on profit of that, you're gonna fail. And that just kind of is what it is. Hell, that's exactly the reason why, and you might not like Genshin, but I love Genshin, because they don't have all the DEI nonsense. They're very poor on the DEI scale of diversity, which is great. So when it comes down to it, you can expect, oh, well, Genshin is just going to do the story it's going to do, and then, you know, have fun with it. And that's the amazing thing when it comes down to it, which is why I'm often looking forward to many different moments in Genshin and many different times and things that happen in the game, just because I know what I'm about to experience is going to be legendary. And that's just how it is. So when it comes down to it, overall, fun over profit. that is quite literally what will save your game and what can make your game be literally better than anything else that has been put out for the last couple of years since this whole 2020 started. If I'm being absolutely real with you, to be honest, this is why you get indie games now. This is why you get so many different indie games now that's coming out and doing their own thing, and people playing those, and those get actually like something to show for it instead of all these really top AAA budget wasting $200 million on the game type services and all that type of stuff. At the end of the day, this is why I tell you to basically go out your way to create whatever story you're going to create whatever game you want to create, because at the end of the day, you have a better chance of making it versus a damn company at this point, because they're too drunk off of money and focus of that instead of actually putting out what works and what's going to make them the most money, essentially. And it doesn't have to be even just games. It could be just a story that you're trying to tell, like my ass with my own damn fan fiction, because F you, I just want to do a damn story because I have fun with it. But that's essentially how it is. So hopefully overall you understand where I'm coming from, and hopefully this whole DEI stuff will go away at some point in the near future, because this shit sucks. Hell, I could even say this for the movie industry, to be honest, because the only good movies that came out recently, was the Mario movie and Sonic. That's literally it. I don't watch any type of movie anymore because I don't care for what happens in a lot of damn movies, because they're all trash. The last good movie besides those two was Avengers Endgame. Literally, I have not seen any other movie outside of those two, of Sonic and Mario. That's quite literally how I just feel. But yeah, that's essentially all I really have to say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out. Also follow me on socials and like to donate to the channel. Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.